proceed to the high table to introduce the regional chairman, Chairman Nana Akwasi. I will introduce the national executives around too. I've seen Dr. Mary Ewusi in the house too, in charge of interparties, and I'll introduce Joyce Bawa Mutari as aide to the president, John Dramani Mahama, and then that's all. I'll leave the rest to the MC. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So the NDC has a policy think tank called the Lab, and the office of the flag bearer of the party to organize this meeting. So I would introduce members of the Lab who are here present. The Lab is chaired by Professor Kweku Dansuboafo, who is in the small here. And then we have here the secretary, who is Honorable Nana Oye Bampoado. We have Honorable Sylvester Mensah also here, former CEO of NHIS. We have Rista Ni Amafiu. Where is Peter Nuhu? Peter is here? Good. And then we also have Prof. Opuni Esiama, who is also a member of the Lab. Your Excellency, this afternoon we are meeting representatives from cooperatives, cocoa cooperative farmers unions. The cooperatives are over 100 in Ghana, and they are spread across cocoa producing regions in Ghana. Some of whom are members of the General Agriculture Workers Union. We know how passionate you are about the cocoa sector and the challenges that confront the sector currently, for which you requested to have this conversation with the leaders of the cooperative unions, so that we can have a discussion and see how the sector can be improved. So we have them here. Can you give me a wave? Yes, the leaders are here, and the head of the delegation is Mr. Moses John Esiedu. Yes, he is the head of the delegation. He is the secretary of the cooperative unions, actually. And then we also have with us the former chief of staff, Honorable Julius Debra, who is here with us. And I also see Beatrice Anang. Yes, lawyer Beatrice Anang. Yes, so if there is any other person who comes across, we introduce them accordingly. At this juncture, I want to invite Chairman of the Lab, Professor Kweku Dansuboafo, to give us his welcome remarks. Let's give him a hand of applause.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Excellency, comrades, I wish to stand on behalf of the Lab to welcome you to this very important meeting. We are going to be discussing a whole range of issues involving farmers and especially cocoa farmers. Excellency, this is the group we've been talking about. On February 25th, we had a Zoom meeting with some members of the leadership who were available, and we discussed a whole range of issues, including the kinds of problems you face and the kinds of policies that you want to see the NDC introduce come 2025. Excellency, I don't want to say too much. The Secretary is here. He has quite a bit to say. I know we will spend quite a bit of time. So again, I want to welcome you. We appreciate your decision to accept our invitation, travel from your various districts and constituencies to come and meet us. We hope this will be a very fruitful discussion. Ask whichever questions you want, and hopefully we would have the capacity to respond to whatever questions you ask. We, the Lab, are committed to producing the best policies for the National Democratic Congress to face our opponents come this December elections. So those of you who are not familiar with the Lab, here we are, and count on us that despite the fact that the 2020 manifesto was the best so far, this 2024 manifesto will beat it all. So go home, rest assured that we are in there to work for you and will deliver the goods when necessary. Excellency, you are welcome with your team, and we hope that, as usual, you would adhere to serve to the hearts of our numerous supporters. Brothers and sisters, welcome and feel free, enjoy yourself to the best of your abilities. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Prof. So, before we take the remarks from the Secretary of the Cooperative Farmers Union, we are advised to put our phones on silence so that it doesn't disrupt the meeting. So please, if you can put your phone on silent mode. So we want to invite the Secretary, Mr. Moses Jan Esiedu, to make some remarks on behalf of the group. Let's give him a hand of applause as he comes, please.
Your Excellency, the former President of the Republic, and the regional executives of the NDC, and the members of the lab who invited us to be here, and ladies and gentlemen, I would like to give a brief introduction of what cocoa farmers have been doing over the years with the purpose of we coming together and having a common voice. I believe that the NDC party is familiar with the World Cocoa Farmers Organization that was inaugurated during your tenure in 2016. We set up in Ghana to mobilize all cocoa cooperative unions to be members of this organization. The purpose was to make sure that cocoa farmers can have a voice, and we present our problems and suggest solutions so that our business as cocoa farmers will yield results and benefit to us, and also knowing that cocoa is a national cake. Whatever benefits we get, the national cake will also benefit the whole society. So over the years we have mobilized, we are now close to 100 cooperative unions in all the growing regions, cocoa growing regions in the country, and we have undertaken to do research into some of the problems so that whatever we are saying is based on what is really happening. We are all talking about cocoa sustainability, but we think that the way things are going, if we, the farmers, do not rise up and make sure that our business gets what it's needed to get the work and bring benefit to us, cocoa maybe in the near future will be a thing of the past. Sustainability, that is the order of the day, we cannot realize. So we have put down the issues as identified that are affecting the farmers. So I'll briefly read through, and when we finish, we'll present a copy. But that is what we want to do. And this is coming from all the and so those who are representing the unions here are in front. We have Mr. Nicholas Galago coming from the Western North, and he belongs to Sevi Bekwai Cocoa Farmers Union. We have Mr. Usu James coming from Ahafo, that is Esutifin South. We have Mr. Douglas Ano coming from Offenso in the Ashanti region. We have Okukwa Champon, a Santibekwai of the Cooperative Union. We have Mr. Theophilus Tamaklu. He's coming from Central Region, represent the Asenman Cocoa Cooperative Union, a very formidable group in the Central Region. And then we have Imelda Amwa, also from the WCFO National Office. And then we have Ajima Newton, also from the Regional Cooperative Union from Ahafo. Yes, from Ahafuano. All right, so these are the people we selected. In fact, the one is supposed to come from Eastern Region because of the short notice given. If we were to bring all the cooperatives here, we will not have a room to contain us. So let me go through first summarizing what we have put together for the attention of this meeting. The Ghanaian cocoa sector, a vital contributor to the nation's economy, faces several challenges. This document highlights key issues and proposes actionable solutions to ensure the sector's sustainability and the welfare of cocoa farmers. Number one, we are talking about inadequate and untimely supply of inputs. And I believe that the inputs are very vital because research has shown that the lands on which we are operating are not producing the required quantity. So we have loss of nutrients. So 1 acre, the maximum you get now is 2 to 3 bags for a whole year. And that's why the inputs are very critical in getting the farmers on course. The Ghana Cocoa Board must enhance accessibility to inputs through cooperative associations, ensuring timely distribution and consistency in the brands. Empowering cooperatives to lead inputs distribution and procuring inputs for longer periods will improve efficiency and effectiveness. Lack of transparency in the cocoa pricing is also another issue that we will want to be given due attention. Consultation with cocoa farmer cooperatives for selecting representatives to determine farm grade prices will ensure fairness. Transparency in announcing free on board FOB prices and basing cocoa pricing on gross FOB amounts will increase farmer incomes. Inclusion of cocoa farmers implicit and explicit costs in pricing equation, and also transparent pricing mechanism established and publicly known. The third issue, lack of clear cocoa policies and laws. Existing stakeholder consultations are needed to review the outdated Cocoa Board Act 1984 and support to local licensed companies, buying companies and cooperatives. Policy reforms should encourage value addition, exploring different models of cocoa sales and direct sales to local markets. Delayed pension scheme for cocoa farmers. This is also an issue, and government intervention is required to expedite and ensure transparency in the implementation of a pension scheme tailored to cocoa farmers' needs. Impact of gold mining activities on cocoa production. Policy is needed to ban mining activities in cocoa growing areas and to create alternative livelihood programs for affected communities to discourage youths from involving in illegal mining activities. Enhanced enforcement of national laws and stakeholder engagement are crucial in addressing the issue. Enhance institutional collaboration to address and support cocoa farmers. Next issue is land and tree tenure matters. Policies must safeguard tenant cocoa farmers' interests and simplify land title and tree registration processes. Policy must address the high cost of land acquisition and facilitate easy access to land for the youth, women, and migrant farmers. Compensation policies should be enforced for the destruction caused by logging contractors. Access to financial facilities. A policy that provides access and a low interest rate for cocoa farmers. Additionally, other deliberations should focus on strategies to support farmers in meeting international regulations, mitigating climate change, and addressing social and gender gaps in the cocoa sector. Collaboration among stakeholders is essential for implementing these recommendations and ensuring cocoa industry continuity in Ghana. Now, those were the summary of the issues that we want to address. Actually, we have expanded them, and I believe that if I have to go through them, it will take another time. We have a copy here, and I suggest I provide one so that all the details, because it covers all the 7 issues that we have raised. So for now, this is the summary of the issues we want to address in any policy for cocoa farmers. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jan Asiedu, for ably representing cocoa farmers and articulating the issues. So among the issues Mr. Asiedu raised include inadequate input for farmers, lack of transparency in cocoa pricing, lack of clear policies, advocating for legislative and policy reforms in the sector. They are also concerned about the delay implementation of the cocoa farmers pension scheme, and then the impact of Galamsey on the sector is a major issue. And then they are concerned about the land and tree tenure issues affecting the sector, and also need more support, financial support, to invest in the cocoa sector. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for us to hear from the flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress. This is not a stranger to, he is not a stranger to any of us. He is not a stranger at all. And in the 2024 elections, there's going to be a choice between an experienced driver and a driver's mate who may not even have a driver's license. And so the choice is very clear. He's not someone that will tell you to look right and you will be tempted to rather look left. KJTR market is an evidence of what he can do. Those of us in Accra, you travel all over the country and you see evidence of someone who is credible, someone who sticks to his words, whatever he does, he says he's able to do it. UGMC is there, Bank of Ghana Hospital, Ridge Hospital, Circle Dubai, name them. We've seen all the transformation. We even saw how the economy was performing that he handed over to the MPP and how they've messed up the economy. Ladies and gentlemen, shall we rise up and receive His Excellency John Dramani Mahama.
Swing that one up. Thank you. Kindly be seated. Thank you very much. Let me move on existing protocol and just use the greetings of our beloved late president, my brothers and sisters. I think that this meeting could not have been more timely, not only because of the crisis we face in our economy, but especially the crisis we face in what has been the lifeblood of Ghana's economy for so many years, from colonial times till present, and that's the cocoa sector. The cocoa sector has helped to make Ghana reach where it has today. Since independence, cocoa has been a sector that has brought in precious foreign exchange. And as we know, Ghana has for many years been the second largest producer. We used to be the first largest producer, the leading producer, until Cote d'Ivoire overtook us. And we have held the position of second largest producer of cocoa in the world. Unfortunately, recently, because of policies that have not inured to the benefit of the industry, Ghana is losing market share in terms of cocoa production. From 2017, the 2016-2017 crop year, when we produced almost 960,000, almost a million tons, 967,000 tons of cocoa. With the advent of the new administration, cocoa production has continuously declined to the extent where we probably will be receiving one of the lowest crops that we have ever got in several decades. There's a lot wrong with the industry since the MPP administration took over. Administrative costs of cocoa board have risen tremendously, and the share of the farmers has continued to go down. The welfare of the farmers is not the prime objective of the leaders and administrators of the cocoa industry. It has always been the policy to increase the share of the farmers, to make cocoa farming lucrative, both for those currently farming and for those who wish to establish cocoa farms. And so, under previous administrations, including mine, every year we made it a point to increase the producer price so that it keeps the industry profitable for the farmers to continue to tend to their cocoa farms. Part of the reason for the decline we suffer currently is that in the first 4 years of the Akufo-Addo administration, they refused to add even 1 cedi to the producer price. For 4 years, there was no increase in the producer price, to the extent that the share of the farmer dwindled precipitously in relation to what the world market price was. And so a lot of farmers really did not think that it was worth their while tending their cocoa crop. Other projects that we had started, including the free seedlings project and so many other projects that were meant to increase production, were temporarily suspended. The Cocoa Roads project that was meant to open up the cocoa growing regions so that we could haul out more of the cocoa for export was also suspended. And as I speak till now, very sadly, some of the contractors who worked on Cocoa Roads as far back as 2016, 2017 are still waiting to receive payment for the work that they did. And so the reality today is that LBCs are starved of funds to buy the cocoa. The cocoa that they have purchased, Cocoa Board does not have the money to pay them. And even the timing of the syndication was so late. And once the farmers have harvested their beans, they are not going to be sitting with the cocoa beans and waiting for you to come and buy. They have immediate needs. And anytime they take it to the cocoa clerk says, "Oh, I'll receive the beans, but you won't get your payment now. You have to wait for a period or two to come for your payment." A farmer who is in need of cash to, address his present household needs, especially those who live close to the border, just find it easy to walk across with the cocoa and sell it. And it's even attractive now because they get safer, and because of the deterioration of the cedi, when they come and change the safer into cedis, they make more cedis than they would have gotten if they had sold it locally. And so as a result of that, our cocoa production has gone down tremendously. Even though we don't know what the figure for this crop season would be, people are projecting that it might be one of the lowest in at least the last 10 years. Everybody could tell that our industry was in trouble. And one day when I said that Cocoa Board was broke, they replied me with a 25-page response. And the thing is, in our local language, they say, pregnancy does not grow inwards, it grows outwards. And so if you go and take their response that they gave to me, the 25-page response, and you see what has happened subsequent to what I said, you will find that it is exactly the truth. Cocoa Board kept borrowing on the bond market. At the time we were leaving office, cocoa bills amounted to 3 billion. And that year when we went for the syndication, our bank syndication partners urged us to clear that debt with the Bank of Ghana. And so we used 1.5 billion cedis of extra supplementary funds that they gave us to clear half of the debt to Bank of Ghana. And so by the time we left office, cocoa bills amounted to only 1.5 billion cedis. By the time we were going into the debt restructuring, over 7 years, this Cocoa Board administration had moved that debt from 1.5 billion to almost 15 billion cedis of debt. And so while the Minister of Finance was overborrowing, Cocoa Board was also overborrowing, following in his footsteps. And so when the crash occurred, cocoa bills have been a part of the crash. And so they are part of the current debt restructuring. I remember the bills were due for payment, and on the day that the payment was due, the banks put the money into people's accounts, and suddenly a circular came and said they should retrieve the money, reverse the payments immediately. And so they reversed the payments, and forcefully rolled over people's investment, knowing that they were going to restructure their investments and give them haircuts. We all saw what happened with the syndication this year. It took quite a hell to be able to raise only $800 million. And that is because the international credit market no longer trusts Ghana's cocoa industry. This was a syndication that banks used to struggle for every year. Every bank wanted to get Ghana's cocoa syndication because it was like pure gold, immediate money. Because at the end of the year, you know you'll be paid and you will make your interest. This time, it was difficult to get people to sign on to Ghana's syndication. And we're able to raise only $800 million in tranches. And at 8% interest, the highest interest we've paid on cocoa syndication as far as known history. If you compare it to the $1.8 billion syndication we did in 2016, the interest rate on that was 2%. And it's when you're credit worthy that you get a lower interest rate. When you're not credit worthy, because of the risk they take in borrowing, they give you a higher interest rate. And so in 2016, the interest rate was 2% for $1.8 billion. This year, $800 million, interest rate was 8%. It should tell you how untrustworthy and how the credit worthiness of our cocoa industry has become. It needs urgent action to revitalize this vital source of foreign income, foreign exchange to Ghana, and a vital source of livelihood for our rural people. And I'm talking of just one sector. You can look at other sectors and see that the same thing has happened under the 7.5 years of this administration. But cocoa is too important to leave in decline like this. And so we need to put in urgent measures to be able to revitalize the industry. And that is why this meeting is very timely, especially in a critical year like this, where we have choices to make in respect of elections, and we have policies to implement, under whichever government emerges victorious in the election. And I'm sure that the NDC is going to win this election. And so we're happy to interact with you and share our ideas. The other ancillary things that are very distressing and sad. In 2016 crop year, 2016-2017 crop year, the produce buying company, which has existed for God knows how many decades, from Nkrumah's time, and has been one of the principal stakeholders in the cocoa industry. In 2016, PBC's share of cocoa purchases and haulage amounted to 30% of the total cocoa produced. Today, PBC's share is 0. And as I speak to you, the banks are auctioning PDC's assets because they owe the banks and they cannot pay. The workers of PBC have not been paid for about 8 months to 9 months. And it is not known when they will even receive their salaries. It is instructive to note that 2 of the directors who have led PBC into the ditch could see that they had finished the company, and so they were looking for new careers. So they went and stood as parliamentary candidates on MPP tickets. And God doesn't sleep. Happily they lost. Happily they both lost. And we thank God that He made them lose. Because you cannot behave like this. Run a profitable company like this into the ditch, and then now you want to bail out and go to parliament. They have to stay and wait for accountability. When we come, we will probe what happened to PBC and hold them to account. And so there are few issues, even though this is not comprehensive, because we've not come out with our manifesto yet. I'm happy that your leader went through a few of the issues. We also have some issues here. Some of them are virtually the same as you spoke about, so we're on the same wavelength. But I'm sure that our interaction will make our picture more complete, so that when our manifesto comes out, it will reflect what the cocoa producers want. As we've said, we always come out with a people's manifesto because we don't sit with professors and intellectuals in a room and write a manifesto for people. We interact with them to find out what the real challenges are, and then we incorporate that into our manifesto. So there are a few points, not in any order of merit. We just put down a few points that we are looking at in respect of the cocoa industry. And the first is that we will review the imposition of taxes on agricultural commodities. These are bullet points, so I'll just go quickly through. We will reintroduce the provision of free agro inputs like fertilizers, insecticides, fungicides, etc. to cocoa farmers, as happened when the NDC was in government. We will ensure transparency in distribution of inputs through farmers' cooperatives. And let me explain here. Agricultural cooperatives are going to be the focal point of our interventions in agriculture, because we realize that it's easier to deal with farmers through their cooperatives than to deal with them as individualized farmers. And so for Cocoa Board, we would use the cooperatives to make sure that inputs are distributed transparently and fairly amongst the cocoa farmers. Under the 24-hour economy framework, we will support local companies in formulating and producing fertilizer locally to create more jobs and make fertilizers more affordable. We started the work on a pension scheme for farmers, and will ensure its full implementation to benefit our hard-working farmers. They must enjoy a pension in their old age. We believe in and will institute additional livelihood programs for farmers, and these will include training them in vocations like grass cutter rearing, bee farming, honey production, soap and pomade making, poultry farming, as well as the cultivation of other cash and food crops. We don't want them to be just monocrop farmers. We want them to have some other income earning activity so that they don't depend only on cocoa for their livelihood. We will drastically reduce the administrative expenditure of Cocoa Board in order that we can improve the income for cocoa farmers. We will support women in cocoa farming to have easy access to extension services and agro inputs, and actively participate in cocoa farming related programs that we will roll out. There will also be an award scheme for the best youth and female cocoa farmers to encourage more youth and women to consider cocoa farming a lucrative business. With respect to the Youth in Cocoa program, we will continue to support and encourage young people to consider cocoa farming as a lucrative farming business under the Youth in Cocoa farming program. We will provide credit for women and youth who wish to go into cocoa farming. We will resume the free hybrid seedling program and scale it up to over 100 million hybrid cocoa seedlings every year. We will establish another cocoa college in the Western North region to train cocoa farmers and extension officers. This will target the Western North, Bono, and Ahafo regions. The existing Bonsu Cocoa College will cater for cocoa farmers and extension officers currently in the Eastern, Central, Volta, and Ashanti regions. The next NDC government will also resume the Child Educational Support Program to eliminate the worst forms of child labor in our cocoa growing industry. They will also support the provision of boreholes and small water systems in cocoa growing communities that currently do not have access to potable drinking water. We will provide small irrigation pumps to cocoa farmers to alleviate the stress on cocoa trees during the unusually harsh dry harmattan. Cocoa Board will work with the Electricity Company of Ghana to provide electricity to cocoa growing communities that are not connected to the national grid. We will also rehabilitate overaged cocoa farms and others destroyed by cocoa swelling shoot virus disease. With cocoa roads, we know the impact the introduction of this project had on roads in our cocoa growing areas and regions. We will revive and broaden the scope of the Cocoa Roads project to cover more cocoa growing regions. We will increase the capacity of grinding in Ghana so that we process more of our cocoa locally and add value to the cocoa beans instead of exporting the raw beans to the international market. We will check the menace of galamsey on cocoa trees, and one of the suggestions that has come is to pass a law on the destruction of economic trees, which would include cocoa. And so if somebody willfully enters a cocoa farm and destroys it because he's mining gold or mining whatever he's mining, he commits an offense unless he has properly got the permits and compensation has been calculated properly before anything like that can happen. And so use legislation to stop the destruction of cocoa and other economic trees, not only cocoa. And then we go on. We will resume all abandoned cocoa road projects and pay the certificates of contractors that have not been honored by this Akufo-Addo administration. And of course, last but not the least, well, not yet, and of course, we will ensure a consistent annual increment of the cocoa price to farmers in order to make the industry more attractive, especially to the youth. And finally, we would adhere to the 70% market principal share of the world market price to go to cocoa farmers. And so these are a few of the thoughts we have had so far, and I'm sure that our interaction with you would make this a fuller document. And when we launch our manifesto, we would invite your representatives to be there, and we'll give you copies of the manifesto, and I'm sure that you'll find that your concerns and challenges have been captured in the manifesto. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Excellency. Shall we give him another round of applause? We'll move straight into the interactive session, and so we'll take some questions in turn. Please feel free to speak. You can ask your question in any language, and then we would respond appropriately. So please take note. Before we start, I want to acknowledge the presence of the Western North Regional Chairman of the NDC, Bigeru. Let's give him a hand of applause. He's going to have a cocoa institute in the Western North region. He's going to have one institute there, in addition to the one at Bonsu. So that's good. Then we also have the parliamentary candidate for the NDC parliamentary candidate for the host constituency in Shaiso. So Faustina Derry, that's the name. So that's our parliamentary candidate for Shaiso constituency. So please, it's time for questions. So we would invite you one after the other to ask your questions. So please, you can make it brief, straight to the point for us, and then our flag bearer will respond appropriately. So please, who is starting? Questions? Comments? Oh, you are okay. No, you must speak. So please, you can come. Please, let's invite him. Yeah, I told them you can speak Chi.
Yo, Abusia for Meda, your former president, Asewo and Sama Waka. I mean, Semigina will be a Musemi Maybe tertiary 2010. And I'm here, Mammy said, May you create Juma. 2018, me arrested best cocoa farm. And see, me arrested me do Usman's James. No on our call and Zelda impressious. Menya sa award no eno na boa ma mete farmers cooperative no na bi mu se aboa akuafo ntina ye ma mpanyin former president ka se obeboa ma youth no anya awards ene enoma bi wo kuadwuma mu no me hu se ye youth no nyina ye adwen se office work me ye adwuma wo trans company kakra me ye adwuma wo bank kakra ansa na me koye kuadwuma no ba me hu se kuadwuma na boa me chen tama na me ye sa adwuma no ba ne ye mabunu no se oka so nko ye kuadwuma na akande ni ho nti no enipa no kwa ontimi nye enti no oka additional livelihood na mani age pa me tuma me ye portrait me ye mprako me ye nwan esa aka kuku no ho but ukopelu a ye mfa mawo nti oka financial support bi ana ye me de pa me to na mbom tinku ti de me sere ne se eye asempa saade a me pese me nua mu nyina so de omwura kuadwuma num because wo ye kuadwuma no kire se wase enti no se sa side no nko ade obetimi ahyemu kina maya enka me pepa because se wo ye kokko adwuma na wo ye enoma bi ka ho amnim se wabrabo nso timi ye de ekoso but se ye nyina ye nso ye anya sa no na ma nna maburu ni nyina ekọ galamsey no se si ya mi amegina hoyi me mfiswa me fa workers kura me de matuo muka oboko bank nso yesi yemfa ma baba ne de hihye bi ba se cooperative for no maka mo ho abom e maburu na mo wo mu no me pese mo enter to be farming anyway a dear emwa na aban ne de breye minim se ankora ko no ogisika no kora ontimi ntua but se ye cooperative ni yakọ sign ya age a ni ye chema wo ma ni tua no ye mre chen se ankora e kwa akwaji enti so wode no ma ni nyina fa cooperative no musa mi fi se ebeboa ye na mum akade na eka ho no enna esese omode tire chi ni yanto yetimi hye maburu nu nkran se so wo wie school na wo do ho wura kuadwuma mu a enye adebone na mum eye adepa wo betimi di akọwani efi se emmoa no ebeba ama ho so ho atọ me na wase
ebeda omampeni dada Mahama ase ene ne mpanifo medin di tamaklo me wa ase north omampeni Mahama meni na ehia wabra obedi di birthday e wa sinsie nchim meni tobi yeah sinchim into state nation address so invite ye ma ye no ekodi ehia kakra tina me hwe kwase bia ka obekai me kakra yo ebusuafo ye hia nyame no no kure kokko akuafo ye wo oman we mu no de maye na ya na yempe nokure no eka ye di kokko no akwaye amanyosem nti ama kokko kuani se NDC na wo so a kokko kuani suro se obeka kokko ho asem se MPP na wo so a kokko kuani suro se obeka because kokka na beka so oye NDC ni oye MPP ni mekai yemampeni Mahama na breso na kokko cooperative ne gina so pa yie ba yeto abawie ye no MPP fo be hu ne se kokko cooperative na omote ye no e NDC fo na tie ye inti unions akese nyina no ombegu ni nyina e de kosi obi anko tete cooperative se ne ebe ya ye ntimi nya ano enkasa me kasa se kokko kueni enye NDC enye MPP asem na meka enti sisi ya ne hu ne se NDC twemu na MPP bas no kokko kuafo ye breyie ye bre pa. This year imagine way 2022 minya Central Regional Best Cocoa Farmer. But this year ubi same ebia Henry si describe me be farmer. No kwasa ma wo muni say last year ye cocoa esu ye no. Aban na mwa ye cocoa nyina proe. Cocoa ni nyina proe. Indro ho enso yamfa ndro amfa amaye. Menu ka say afie emigina we no da me ba me ni officer ba ko etwa aso ansa. Senche akati ewi me cocoa. Ana me kobo na amane say akati ewi me cocoa na obe ne den. Me ko fie sa ko bisa na o se o. Se me ba we fom kra behwe kra na e den age se wo koto aduru nu. Ana me si yo matenti me ko no na madwin kasa kire me se wo so be fo but sa dia ma me nsan no. Men na mbefuo no anza nka so de ma me wo fu ma wo dia ma me wo fie nti wo befuo mo hono mo aba be ye den e wo hono mo na odi amerika na ni ho hantwo wo ni mesese wa ma hwe ya asembeto no na me no kasa nsu no yakobi o mo se afie nro begu ha me enro no so a ye nya nro no emfa nya ye adwuma no ama ye bre nti ye nkoko kuafo ya ka ye ho abom sisi ya no se na yo mampeni ka se oba enuoma bekoyi amaye no ye hwe kwan se enuoma ebetimi akoyi amaye so oba ye ho betimi ye den atoye nti mi kwa ma ye ma adwin se kokoo na medua ka ahwe meja edua because me ho kire me hu faso bia wo kokoo na medua no mu se me ba nye school mu kwan krampo na me nye sika me de kotua admission ama me ba ase kokoo kweni ye ti omemu ye di hia nti omampani mesrew bebre se nia uguso a wo kanu no enkoba ne se ebia nyame beboa se nia wudi gidi aka se edin a 2024 de NDC beba power no se NDC ba power hwe na wowure ankwan kofi yen kokko akuafo no se ekoba ne sa anhwe ye mma no mo ebia nya kuadwuma na youth na nkasa krampo ya ebegina ka se mfaso bia ni so se ye bedua kuku sende se ye dua kuku na mfaso bia nim ye ma enya scholarship sisi ye si free education na ba first na free education ma ye no na ye matiminya scholarship ba sisi ya scholarship no so a ye hu free education so a ye hu ni ye ye ma no bre nti kokokuafo ye ya pa ba nti se ya ka ye hu abomu no ye hwe kwansa mbetimi aboa na nioma bia mu de gua koma kokokuafo ye hu beto ye no ye hu atimi atoye ye da mo ase.
Okay. Hello. Me pacho me so me yakoko kwani. Na nia me so me pese me bisa. Me question no. Se nia yatie ne nia ye hu ni se ewiase koko nyina afeso a ehun sika yinya eye about 130 billion US dollars. Ghana ni Cote d'Ivoire take about 62-65% of the cocoa share we. But Ghana ni Cote d'Ivoire part of our share yinya 130 billion US dollars ni mo 6 billion the highest. Me pamocho ye de no kra so to nchen a isa ye kasa yi Ghana de ye ti ni say cocoa ton aye more than 4,000 and over US dollars. Uba Ghana ha one bag aye 1,300. Me pamocho say obi e kasa ye sisi nipa ahemfo pa na sisi sa enipai ye kuafo a produce cocoa no 4,000 US dollars for 16 bags. Na emu one bag with mano 1,300 Ghana cedis. Mpese mbisa se kwan ben na ye faswa sa cocoa price ye determine. Kwa na hifo so na ye ma ye kase ye disika se ye makuafo na ye hu sankofo na ye hu so mutimi ye din e makuafo. Na edikai me pacho de tosum yenu ya ti se 1984 ena ye cocoa mra 1984 up to 2024 ne womi achadodo say embra ne say up to now embra kro wanyi no oya bakokora enna embra no sumpo kokwa akuafo yenim society yenim cocoa policy cocoa laws anything governing the cocoa industry farmers we don't know those who know no the enlightened people kakra na omo industry num okwan be no betimi aboa ma moaye bibia me ehu se cocoa kuani dwumadi a wo die no obehu se emra ewo hu ni ti dem bezam se emra na 1984 emra na wo cocoa ayina ache esesani wo ma se de wo sisem mbese mbusa se cocoa price no de ya tie ne se sisi a ye wura kasa no o se 70% ye minya abina ye de bema mo mbese mbusa se 70% on what the net and our gross was cocoa board akwaji sika no mo ate sika no the omo be ye omo de atua ka 30% no ansa na no mu na 100% no ye beti 70% da mekwafu ana say the gross you know na ye de 70% mekwafu me pacho masem no esi obi su betimi abibi sem na
okay. Yeah. That's okay. Within the Douglas Ano, may a offense. Na ye boabo akuafo nyina no ma ya form cooperative na aboama kokogwa ye to akoso miruja chairman ye ana miruja kana saso ha na masam we de mesra ye mapanyini ade ha ye ne akuafo ewo anwosua ho wo enkurase ye ne efi nkurase na de kokoro nyina de ehu ne se afi so na yakwala kotwere exams ya eye BEC no a ya fakasa fi bia kilometer aduonu mienu edumiensa ni abakro kasim abawtre exams ya ba ni aba ha dai asa men koda enenso na enenu atwa exams no na pese mbusa ma pen se di otimi nya ho bibia se ye ku enu asa o man no BEC no ye ne won kurase na beto atwa sa anso he no ho ada ede mra ne si akwan ya enti yetimi nwumu ma ye kuafo ye ho ntoye na akwose hwia sukuu ni babia science school ni babia ni ya ha kasa concert biasa ni ama ya mabedi krokasemu enanum ni aye exam ni asa akọ na nsu ofa bi na kaadi bi hwiase ni eprepra omabanyini tieti nye saade ho bibia ema ye nkura no ya kuafo no a ye ne ho ntoy kakra na masema akọ ha me pa no atosumie cocoa board ne forest commission for emre bi se dua yedua na afuomu no saudua se dua fi wafuomu a wokua ne nya wo dia eya aba dia me so na me dua dua no ma dua ne enyine ye wokoka o mo se eya mra eya aba dia wo ya bechew na mu hohura ya te ase na me korum kedua ntoko na abada abecheme woti becheme ani tino yetunye bibia se ye mra ye adododie bi se dua bi be hu bi amana mra eba aba de be mawo abetwa kwa odomo sika anase wudua ibetwa carbon credit kwa ita mobi etimuti nyamra bi amaye ama ho hariye na mra no akitire tintinchi ne yetimi nya hwi ne de bi ohia no ana edokore minsa mieni pese o mapanyin wo ho bi maye oba abamu ana akuafo ho to me da wase
Omanpanyi dada wase eda ankra he nyina so ase medende Badago Nicholas Kopna represent Western of nti me Western of regional chairman o heide medana asese ono so ha na medom omanpanyi dada asese odi ka hye Western of bo se obeboa yen ebie ntiti ya bia e wo Western of edi amaye na me enhira no de edi kan kakra meka ense me papa di kan eti ho na ene koko yare esi oba Western offer yaye mobo mobile ya ne se ye kokoo ni nyina ayare mi yetwa na twa yetwa no so ya saase no so asan asɛn se asan se edua wasu bia no yetwa ade ato atwene ama awia no abɔ asase no eti mebisa ɔmampanyin dada ene se oba aban mu a wakase kokoo rehabilitation no obeye na waye ne yie kwan ben sanse omutwa kokoo na saafe na omasa de kokoo no esifom omutwa kokoo nyina so ne se yare wo kokoo no ewa asase no tina omutwa enti kwan ben no mbefa so ebema sa yare no ase atu ewo asase no kurakura de toso mienu ene enye kuani fese obi duadua papa anaso obi jadua ewo na afuo so isanse aban ko gina tuko bi ayese emra ne sei na etietese de me wofade kan ekan ye no se kuani ehie dua baako e de abone danso a gise okokfo commission eno kura nya dakro be na wotwe bosome na ne nsa ka tumi krata ode be pai dua na ode be bone danso na dan ni so na adwiri ade agunu so na wawu obekum na ye dua obenya de abodan so eti yesrese setumi no yenhwan so kakra na akuafo eho enhae wo de toso miensa mepese so mampanyu ba ebo potin a mekase ye ka ne kwanchen contractors omo mutwa yenua ewo yemfu mu no omo se yekoko dua edua ba ko bia no omo akuafo hu se wo ye loga na se wutwa edua na se se me koko afu a koko dua ba ko no ne bo na enhye akuafo nkran se obi ko twa dua na o se me koko afu a sei na wo se minya na se wantua bi de na famra kwan so amana yiye me da wase.
Thank. Oh, okay.
Yo, mede Ajima Newton, me free ahafo cooperative union mu ena me boy. Wampanyi wakansen bebre e de akire abra yentwetwofo e de cooperative akuafo ye haw eto anim. Na adeba kwa me se me do info mienu baako e wasuo ye fa ne tano na ofifie kwa wampanyi dada emutwe tano no ye kwa sansuo no bi ena yanom ene tano chentwuma ye de ekwa buchia mesra upi woka sese erade adom na oni suade hunu bem abra ya to aba na be mampanyina mo be yemra na mo de mra no asisa wona ye garamse no hokwai emra so de ye hye madwunumo no eche ansa na ayadwuma ntinga prempre ya unya maye mampanyin matimi atu ho na mo bia aka muntu mampanyini dada na emwa akuafo wansansu antwa kwai emfrifia okwafuoma unya nsuo nom eno danchaya musi enua na afi ewiemu nsachirae ehyew no esonte dua esu dua kokoo no enyamfie dua framo no enyini utwa yeye obako obese ho ya me concession na akwa dua no okoka ho nsem bebre o sika ukua ne bi na abotom ntimine no enka ho asem to mampanyini wadi ye hawo woso wahye yembo sa oba wo de be adwuma de abogo kwakuafo na supreme no mesesa na mobo na betimi atu esa sa okasa nipa bebre enetie e de ye adwuma ansa kwa na sa obeba waba na enua o mutwa se yemfuo no eso ntekra na enkofom na afi ensuo na akuafo sanom so eso te se tano nipa akuafo ache ho ebia wo bonkura no anu musanom esa sa ensuo nti ensuo ya turukura bi ni ho ba se ensuo nyina asai to mpanyini made sadi a me baaye bejira afo anim na me so me de to wanim eno no.
Thank you very much for all your questions and comments. So at this juncture, we invite His Excellency to respond to them.
Yo, Nedika Madam Wase, I'm say, Yaba, Yabusa questions to me who say, wavelength Nasasa, and Mesomako Tree Casam, Madam Wase. I'm saying you can okasai about alternative livelihoods. Senya meka say I will say especially a mabuna omu cocoa industry mu ene ma na yetimi boa na omunya edwuma bi a eka cocoa edwuma no ho nti meka say beekeeping, snail farming, mushrooms, and you may be brave or what you bet me at Chomo now omode aso near omoye ewo cocoa farming no into Jumedia more cooperatives no we'll plan it together and your cocoa board bit me abwa aside from that your Ghana exam I boss and Juman kitten will let some of the Yabama Ghana exams can be Ebiabosian kitten Namudia set up sa industries no Senabea Cocoa Jumano Kwa and your source of livelihood. Near Kahono so no credit your best sensenia your check inputs no. If you say right now Cocoa board, abra your hono cocoa board staff and the check inputs no. Sometimes we better say yes omo de ma MPP phone kwa na so omo de ma NDC phone kwa na bibisa. Enti me gidi say cooperatives no members no be a MPP be a NDC be a PPP be a be party bia. Enti the ma cooperatives no moma omo mu ni momo members. Enti omo ne be hu say no mbeche afa ama aso bia. Nti eno eya dia yebe senchim for me remfi muda say eda me ba hono na emabnuda National Youth Day and me ya ma adwen say me ne young cocoa farmer me kosra young cocoa farmer bi nti me bisa cocoa board and so young cocoa farmer bi wo senchim ho ya de me ba Tobin efo nti ekofo no ekopai cocoa ni bi ya pipe wie ye adwuma wie na ye ba ne fie na ne reso ayam pese kama amai nti na o sada no ne ni je kwa nti bo ye di am pese ye wie na ye bon komosa and then ye busa omo or how ben and a warm almost so near the other. And I know you are I really loved it. Me read few more. Toby up to now me on the number to the beer metafreno. If I some poma me talk car to be pick up Mahindra pick up Emano send a bear a bebwan juma. I'm saying Afibia, before the start of the cocoa season, your producer price committee, a share the way almost see a producer price, they say, share international market price, no. Now, share interbank rate. Into between that, no, and the determined price. Into last one, yeah. So almost the price number 1,308 cedis. That time, Mekai say, minimum price of Muyusui, but at that time, average price near $3,600 per ton. And I don't know the strike price. But yet, yeah, calculation. Now, if you say still, cocoa price now, Omoma Equiafono was under. A year was under 60%. Yeah, just 57%. I just say in new 70% now. I was a farmer ninya. And right now, Abra near 3,600 no, and almost 1,300 no a buy. Now, Ibn Mose is the highest increase they have ever seen. Is the den. But if you say accumulated increases from 4 years before I am Mamunina. Near the 63 a year back, it doesn't mean that it is the highest. Apart from that, it's still a new 70% now. I was some of the mammo. And right now, a call from 3,600 and the number 4,000 ho. Bear 4,000 ho. And the next producer price announcement. I will say a factor in that increase. Now, I calculate 70% depending on maybe a dollar ni seeding so ebe kwa kudru. Enti emrenu drew her ye be fix producer price na ye be consult mo na ye yina ya work it. Enti producer pricing committee no ye be ma mo cooperative representatives ni bi abetnam na ye yina ya hwe na ya work it producer price no. Because siama eyi ekuafo na enyam faso cocoa no so they won't care about the cocoa. Enti wo be hu say your production kwa na ekofom. Third largest producer of cocoa Ecuador. Now this year omo adwen say omo be peja omo cocoa production no they are aiming at 400,000. Now yeso ye de tia net eteba from. This year, say Nyamia adum ni enya 500,000 tons mpo ayaya de. Enti Ecuador na omudam be 100,000 ayaya nam 700,000 960,000. Yanhwe ya say we koso a ye be hwe second position na Ghana enya wo cocoa production bu ye be tiaba third position na Ecuador abetwam. You know, apart from that, China omo baby a tropical omo so mutimi dua cocoa. Enti China started dua cocoa. Wuni momo de almost started ye bibia na che say ehun yabam. Enti say yamboabo ye ho ampeja ye cocoa production na nkosoro amma cocoa edwuma no anye niji amma ekuafo na ene misro se yanhwe ya japadia ye nananom eja ye no ebehwere yansa. Enti memi ojide se NDC ba ye ne mu na beye dwuma no bibia ebeye bia ye de mbeka ho. Because me I believe in consensus building. Say ye na ebe trase na we agree on something. Yes ye na be make sure say nia ya je atumu no ye be make sure say beye dwuma. Enti that's what we'll do. First time I met this seminar, but we'll look at it. Prof, or say farming communities, no. Omoma and Kwadano etukwain to exam centers in the towns. Na your Hauma farmers, no. And here no menjuen, but we'll take note of it. Bibia mwakebia ya try to ho, and then we'll see what to do. I think so. Mene forestry for ni biakasa. Almost say 8 years at MPP abe. Emrebia ni Ghana bakosema ye twa ndua to say MPP abresui. You see 8 years see omo twa ndua ma enyefe. Forest reserves ye twitwa Nanya Forestry Commission and Kasa Ebekai almost say 37 forests are compromised. And say, and yet they don't care about anything. 37 forest reserves have been compromised. Adia Abaimbia Abba from Rawlings Abreso Kufo Mills, Yenina Yabo Forest Yi Hombain. Now within 8 years, Mabu Chucha Forest Nibebregu. Nanyasa Galamse and Kwa Timber so and maybe make a campaign Western region. Missing them doing everything. Not if we Western na ya call Western North, call Western region, not trucks na near Fia Hafo, and they call Western North. And not trucks ya neba ye quite near Shabako, ye quite near Shabako, ye quite near Shabako, Nina company back, which I say a manu concession, forest is ever old tregu. You know, and now simple. What share senya Hamatan no esitia Western region entesa, and then so oko Western region the way Hamasan nisitia e was rim sa na otenka e wo ho, and also about the sa ha cocoa trees no, because Hamatan near hash na ensure ni wa ma brofoka some your friend is stressed. Cocoa trees no stressed because I was almost dropping on leaves. because they don't want to lose water. Into almost drop it on leaves, no. And a basa the next cycle, no, ain't mean fruitu, senya anka a bit me fruitu. Enti afe you will be a friend carbon credit. I just say obebo okwaya no ho ban. And your green climate finder ombetua usika for maintaining the forest wuncha. Enti kwaya nso wonfaso. Enya gold nkwa, enya timber nkwa. Ucha timber de na sa wo be dem biu. Naga na ha nyina be yet say savannah. Enura nkwa, grass nkwa. Enti aba omo self kwaya no, we hold them accountable. And apart from that, the big afforestation program ever, because we can employ them to plant trees, not only to plant trees, to grow trees. And there are funds that are willing to help countries that want to do afforestation. Nano meko Ethiopia, and me, I mean, 1 billion trees. In Ethiopia, 1 billion trees. Baby, yes, in Shemuno, me a chairman of Tana board. In Tiatako Tana, Eko yes, in Shemun. And I've been going there for the last 7 years. Last year, dear, I koye. A crona sasa, a cooler. Baby, and some say, and then they see, I'm sure, afforestation program. No more, 1 billion trees. Ghana, so you bet me, we can grow it because labor no we have youth who are ready to work. Emabuna omo page maye. Into omo kakrebia. Now kasi omo nduya no omo bo ho ban. They'll do it. And apart from that, I was here ahemfo no beka ho to protect the forest. Enti ewomu say natural resources na ye aban dia. But I was here some rano say na beya won't abide intimate na akra emma obi concession say onko bubu nnua ewo obi asase so. Enti e was say ahemfo no eka ho. Mimi gidi say in things like forest conservation any sanitation was say yema ahemfo no ka ho. Obi wo ho na without permission of forestry, without permission of Ohenana. I was so much pano. Enti san yomani na yebeshe na yes ye. Destruction of water bodies because of galamsey. I know another it's undermining, and also your paper on mining details be brio of we want our water bodies to be clean. Mining in a water body. You can do it on the land. On the land, district be a district mining office. Now district mining office no Accra, Omoma concessions, Emma and Krofoko to gold, district mining office, Nibia, the Minerals Commission, Nibeba Betraho, near the Environmental Protection Agency, Niba Beba Betraho. Abe Juma, a share mining sector, Nusubia, they will have officers there. Apart from that, your university, a trainee mining engineers, University of Mines and Technology. Almost graduates are all in the mining industry, how to do it safely and environmentally friendly. In the Sa district mining office, no, and no nebeshe that district, they will be in charge of the district. In the what small scale concession will be on inspection, say you are doing the work properly. Near the mining engineers now are attached to all those small scale miners. And are making sure say you are doing the right thing. Now say we hear the wrong thing and I say what na ya stop you. We'll let you stop the mining. Kopim say obidi emrano so. and he will supervise better. Right now, districts be brave, yeah, mining or obie any ho. DC in Kwan. Apart from that, party in Fompo na aje concessions na omo ya mining no obie ntimi stop yomo DC fo nyina aka ho eno mi na ya mining no. Enti aba ya den hihye pa beba se na be ya these kinds of things won't happen again. And so yen show there I was say abo ho ban. Se na be ya almost say and so know the way it is. And normally we go streamer na who say river and I say show that one na brown because in geography I say rivers erode in their upper courses. In the lower courses they are dumping silt. Into what you say show ni kama. And so and over south and umpo brown chain in shona a war extreme ho. And there we can restore our water bodies and protect our land. Almost small scale concessions, no. We won't ask them not to mine, but you must mine according to the law. What the sikebi beto ho, or excavator or the bayer mine no. Uya and noa ye de be pia assassino near Cataso. Na Yamabuna Yakasa, you bet your mo eduandiano, on beba eduandiano egu assassin somehow. Excavator bia ebeko into a district. First place I also call district mining office. No muhu baby excavator no call. And they will accompany you to that place. No one making sure say papers you're correct. And some excavator na timia ye juma ho. Uye juma nsu ya the excavator will go back near check it who say eko. Say you can who say excavator no district or abra e was say every district no ya bechi excavator no. Say ama emra nye juma will never get rid of this galamsey thing. And was here making sure say yeah kofa ye DC for MBA mining because almost can who be and yentimin so ano. And say say no.
Thank you very much, Excellency. One thing you can't take from His Excellency is his deep knowledge and understanding of issues across every sector of the economy. Let's give him another round of applause. So we are at the end of the program, so we will take the closing remarks. So I will invite Honorable Nana Oyebampo, former Gender Minister and also Secretary to the Lab, to give us the closing remarks, after which we take the closing prayer.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency John Dramani Mahama, for responding to the concerns of cocoa farmers and farmers across the length and breadth of Ghana. I am sure the leaders of the cocoa cooperatives here are fully satisfied with the responses that you gave. Mwenyaji, dear Omanpening Dadakaye no. Mwenyaji ana. Yes. You have also promised to ensure that our policy proposals as a political party, NDC, will be implemented to address the issues that have been raised. We are very grateful to you. We also thank the leadership of the cocoa farmers cooperatives and our representative from the Agriculture Workers Union, who were also here with us. He's sitting behind. Please, let's see you. He's from the Ghana Agriculture Workers Union, and all other members, especially our regional chairpersons from Ashanti region. We are grateful to you, and our regional chairman from Western North, and all other regional executives, our regional organizer, and all those who put this together. Thank you very much. We are very grateful. Good evening.
Thank you very much. So we take the closing prayer, and after the closing prayer, we invite the cooperative leaders to take a group photograph with His Excellency and the team right here. So please, we invite Mr. Tamaklo Theophilus to give us the closing prayer.
Yo, MC, that's very brief. Answer na yabebo mpaye no ebegina WCF anemu na yada ye mampeni ene ne mpanifo a omoto nsafra ye nso ase. Yen ka se nyame enhyira wo. Na nia ye ne wo abadwen ho anase de yaka no wada nyankopon onso wo ho dae. Se ne be ya cooperatives no ye nso ebetimi ama kokokuafo ediye. Yada mo ase bebre MC wo so yada ase. Ebe fa kwenya wesu na eni die mu ya so original ya na mo so ne ya bom pae. Yada wase yendi mafo ene yemboafo pa. Ebra wonya emo wiase na omo asase no na urade unimni a wode ekuafo ene yem papa mahama eba beye. Ye waya ma ye ne de no urade eso ye ni enti ye kase asida enka wodin. Ye said ye yaka ene de yesu nyina no urade ubema na bemu. Na ye bom paye esre onyinchere edema ye mampeni mahama. Nyansane ni medie urade enhye ne ma. Mana kuma endi yen kokokuafo echi ene kuafo nyina ene wo man Ghana. Ye bom paye wo Jesus Christ dimo ebre da ye nimu yi a ye beto 2024 abayi no. Ye hwe nyame kwan said ye wahye na urade ma empremu. Dio obonefo no besusu de wo Jesus Christ ma urade ye twem. Ye bisa asomdwe di ma oman Ghana. Ye bisa urade ye di ma oman Ghana. Yen kokokuafo nso no urade masika mra ye mbotom. Tonsuo gu ye nnwuma so ma oman so emfa ntoma pemfra. Yara wase ye gise wo de ye makokodu ye fiefie asomdwe mu. Ama ya nyonko fa ye ni omampeni dada abefa no enkwa wie de biara da. Ye nyina ye bom de aseda chance di ama. Yada wase e wo Yesu di mu. Amen.